Everyone's prepared with their TP and they've got their water and everything now. I literally felt guilty when I went to the store, and I buy water from Costco usually. And so when we went in, it was all gone. I buy it like every 2-3 months, all out. And so I was down to like my last 8 bottles. And I go in, I was like, I promise I'm not like, what's the word, panic buying. I just need water. So God is good, guys. I'm so grateful to have water and all these amazing things in my life so readily available most of the time. Awesome. Okay. Well, I am going to jump in. Let's see. And we're just going to start. So as I was talking to a few of you about, what's going on in your lives, what can be the most value to you, what's coming back is that your homes are just kind of being really chaotic, especially when it comes to your living rooms, like your main family rooms. Is that right? Yeah. And it's happened mostly in the last 2 weeks. Like you were probably pretty good up until then. And then all of a sudden, you don't know what it is, but things won't stay put. Right? Okay. And I love interaction, so please feel free to talk to me and to shake your head yes and no. That way I know that what I'm saying has value for you, and I'll keep going. So what's awesome about this opportunity that you're looking around and seeing is, as we're looking at our homes are actually a reflection of us. What that means is our mental mindset, what's going on inside of our heads, actually transfers out, and the stronger that mindset is, that order or chaos, the closer it will get to us. So say we have a mindset that that our family is taken care of and that everything is in order, that is going to first and foremost be portrayed in your living room. Okay, so if you were going along minding your own business in your house, particularly your living room, would stay in order and you didn't have a lot of chaos, then you had the mindset that your family was taken care of, that your relationships were on solid ground, and you knew what direction you were facing. And then turmoil hit. And this crazy thing called individuality came into play. And your kids, especially if you have little kids, will sense that. And they start trying to figure out where they fit into this. So you'll have everyone coming into that main room where you usually would have this nice family get together, and all of a sudden they'll be sprawling out. You'll have the little 3-year-olds, they'll have their crayons and their coloring books and their papers, and it will go from a nicely contained space to scattered across it. What they're trying to do is say they matter, that they're in, they're trying to find where they fit into this. How does this work? And because of that chaos, it's actually spreading out. Okay. And I think I've lost some of you, so let me back up. I'm sorry. Everyone's energy is reflected in different areas. So the first one I want to talk to you about tonight is your heart chakra. Heart chakra chakras are energy types. So this is your relationship energy. This is how you greet people, how you interact with them. Okay. That help? Okay. We're going to go from understanding relationships. Hi, sweetheart.
Hey, am I for the duo?
I'm not. I am doing a recording. I will see you in half an hour. I love you. Shut the door. All right. I told them I'm going to go and do a recording for a little bit. So of course they come in. They're figuring out where they fit into this, because this is not the normal. So if your energy of relationships is in order, it will naturally be reflected in rooms where you would normally have those relationships. Right now with this COVID-19, whatever they're calling it, there's a lot of chaos, there's a lot of turmoil and anxiety about what people are doing, what are things going to be available to you, and there's a lot of that anxiety, and that transfers to how am I taking care of my family. So if you guys are experiencing a lot of that chaos in those rooms where you'd normally just be able to have a nice family gathering, that's why. Because it's shifting through. And what's beautiful about this is chaos is not a bad thing. Okay, I don't want you to think that, oh no, my house is a mess, so I'm a failure. That's exactly what makes it hard for us to move through and to transition into what it can create. And what chaos can create is a higher level of order. Think about when you go through and you are decluttering a room. The first thing you do is pull everything out, and it looks like a tornado hit. It creates more chaos. But as you start creating more order and you start putting things in better spots and adjusting to the needs of that space, then it creates a greater level of order. Well, that's what we're doing with our relationships right now. We're creating more order, and more order means greater responsibilities and greater capacities. Now you get to choose which way you will go. So you can choose one where you say, you know what, it's okay that this living room is a little bit chaotic right now. If I were to show you mine right now, I have Uno cards, I have blankets and Connect Four checkers all over the floor, and it's okay. Because I know that I am choosing to cultivate a relationship where my children remember and have memories of the fun times, of enjoyable games that we're playing together. I'm not worried about maintaining that sense of order at the cost of memories. Okay? And because of that, as we shift through it and as we create more order, it's going to have a long-lasting effect. Okay? There are 7 different types of energy that we actually attribute to in us personally, and they can all be displayed in our life. So in addition to the heart chakra, I also want to talk a little bit about the root chakra. Now, the root chakra is your survival or your thriving energy. Okay, so if you're shifting from its scarcity or abundance, how are you living life? And for most of you, you're going to stop and you're going to look at your pantries and your storage rooms, your cellars right now, and you're going to feel either a sense of scarcity or a sense of well-being. So take a minute. How many, if you can put in the chat box or just tell me out loud, but how many of you feel like your storage rooms are a safe place to be right now? I got one response. The chat box is down. It's that little bubble at the bottom of your screen. Is it possible to fill both? Yes. I don't feel they're scarce. They're just messy. Okay. Awesome. So yes, it is possible to fill both. And what you're doing is you're just finding that balance that works for you. So abundant and messy. Perfect. So if that's the case, I imagine, and tell me if I'm wrong, that you're going through this experience looking at people around you and wondering, what can I do to help them gain a greater sense of security? without risking my own. If you're looking at it from an abundance standpoint, then you have this confidence and this calmness that can this story. Yes, Renee.
No, go ahead.
Okay. So as you're finding this balance, it's important to recognize where you're at. And one of the ways that you can do that is through your storage room. So looking at, how much food storage do I have? How many toiletries do I have? This is pretty spot on. How can I help those around me in this weird time while making sure I can take care of my people? Yeah. So it's important to know where you're at. That's why it's important to shift from that chaos into order. That's that. So if you want to learn how to shift from that lower vibration to the higher, then you're going to start recognizing what you can share. So last night, someone in my area sent out a group text, and she says, hey, is there anyone who has mac and cheese? And she listed off like pudding cups and things like that. And is there anyone who can donate? We're trying to create some packages for the schools. And so I was like, oh yeah, we've got tons of mac and cheese that I don't ever use. My husband bought it however long ago. I can totally donate that. And the minute I went down and I was pulling it out to get it to give to her, I had this thought of, well, what if I need that? What if I can't replace it immediately? Well, what happens when you can't replace something immediately? Are you going to shift that into scarcity where you can't share? Or are you going to shift that up and say, no, I believe that things are going to work out and that this too shall pass? And then you can give it away. So for me, even last night, I was like, I have plenty of food storage. I'm fine. I'm healthy. My kids are taken care of. Everything is good. So why am I worried about giving away a few boxes of mac and cheese? Because there's this franticness going around in our lives. And there's this need to overcompensate for what we don't have. And it's that mindset that is keeping us from living in a state of love and caring, which is what's throwing our front rooms, our living rooms off. And it's what's keeping our storage rooms in chaos. Because we're holding on to that scarcity mindset of, is it enough? If you want to shift out of it, start seeing what you can share. Now, understand that energies have pairs. There's both the good and the bad. Now, if you are not in a space to share what you have, because it might put you into an actual state of scarcity, it's okay to recognize that and to set it aside. Now, if you are in a state of scarcity, go into your storage room, and rather than having your cans lined up side by side by side, this is the only time I will ever tell you to do this. Spread it out just enough so there's a little bit of space, and it will take up that much more of your storage so that you can trick your mind into seeing how much abundance there is. Because I guarantee you that you have more than you think you do. Because when we're in that state of scarcity, we hold on to what we lack rather than what we have. And that actually creates more fear. And fear will keep you from living an abundant life. It will keep you from having those experiences with your children, with your spouse, with the ones that you care about. And I want you all to be able to create a safe experience for yourself and for your family. Okay. if you want to explore this a little bit more, then start noticing how you're, how many of you have kids? I know most of you do. Okay, so what I want you to do is watch how your kids are congregating. When they congregate in those family areas, then you're going to start noticing, awesome, 4 kids. Me too. Ages 10 down to 3. They congregate where the most authoritative figure will congregate, because the one in authority is the one that tells them where they fit in. Okay, unless they're a rebel, and then they might go and hide in their own room. That's okay too, but notice how they spend their time. What are they doing? Are they organizing things and being nitpicky about how they do it? Are they laying on their bed listening to music? All these things are going to tell you how they feel connected or not in your home. So as you're looking at your front room and you start seeing the people come and go in it, you're going to start seeing how they value or how they feel valued in the relationships that they have. So if they're holding that space, if they're sitting on the couch and not moving, then they might actually feel like they're paralyzed, like they don't have a direction to go right now. And that would be an opportunity for you to sit down and talk with them and shift through some of these fears that they may be having. If they are trying to create, they're trying to get out of that state of paralyzation and into something better. So they're trying to create, this is what's cool. Your creation energy is paired with your perception. And so they're trying to create a better reality. Pay attention to what they're doing. If they are playing games, they're trying to, and most of these are subconscious and they don't know. Oh, let's see, they've been playing together and even doing sleepovers in each other's rooms. Awesome. So, okay, I'll come back to that. If they're playing games in that living room, and they're trying to shift from that, games have to do with your action energy. So it's that playtime. It's the joyful trying to accomplish, trying to reach something. And so if they're doing that, so depending on how they're interacting as they do, if they're in a state where they're calm and they're enjoying and they're having fun, then you know that they're being balanced and that they feel like they have direction. If they're angry while they do it, then they're trying to express something and they don't know how to. It's not necessarily that they're angry at the person that they're playing with, or that they feel like they're missing out on anything or they're overwhelmed. They literally have to process that energy in some way. And so, especially as children, they will speak more angrily in that space because they have that drive to move forward, but not the communication to do so. Okay? So if they're having sleepovers in each other's rooms, anger unmet needs, yes. Say that again. Can you rewrite that, Christiane? Sorry, I don't know what you mean. If they're in their rooms sleeping, yes, anger means unmet needs. Whether in communicating, they don't feel like they're being heard. And that is one of the most powerful blocks a child can have, is they don't feel understood, or there's something else that is bothering them and they don't know how to express it yet. Anger can be in energy without direction, absolutely. Yes. So, okay, sleepover. If if they're sleeping over and they're actually sleeping, that would suggest that they have the perception of peace, that they feel connected and whole together, which is a really good sign as a family. So I would definitely encourage those bonding moments right now. Bedrooms are also that heart chakra energy. That's how they have the relationship with themselves or the ones that they share it with. So if you were to look at your room and your spouse's, take note of where it is. So I can go into my room right now, and my husband's side is a little bit messy, just naturally and always. My side is more chaotic right now than it typically ever is. And I know that's because I'm shifting through trying to balance this new relationship that I'm with my kids and my business and everything that's going on. It's reflecting on my side table. So it's a little bit more chaotic than it typically is. You can see all these different places and each space has a different type of energy with it. And so it's kind of fun to watch and see. But do you guys have any questions about what I'm talking about? What if they are scared of their room? Does that mean he's scared of being with himself? Not necessarily. So what's fun about rooms is, particularly if it's not your first, or if it was someone else's home before yours, then it actually has remnants of someone else's energy. So if we were to take someone who say they dealt with anxiety or depression, and then they moved away and a new family moved in, if you aren't clearing that energy, then it will actually stay around, and it has an effect, especially on children, because they're so sensitive to that. So monsters under the bed can be just as real as the child who sees them. And I don't typically go into that, but if he is scared of his room, before you jump to the conclusion that he's scared of being with himself, I would go in and I'd make sure that you're clearing that space. So are you spiritual? If you're spiritual, I would encourage you to go in and say a prayer or a meditation and just bless the space so that he can find peace, comfort, and joy in his space. Sometimes it takes something else to clear when you're in that state and you feel that. If you've ever gone, okay, this is good for this. Okay. COVID-19. There is nothing more that you can do than what you're already doing, right? You're isolating yourselves. You're making sure to wash your hands a million times a day. You're trying to make sure that you're balancing your energy with positive books and music, all these things that you're doing. But sometimes it's going to take someone who is in a higher authority to calm your heart and say it's going to be okay. Because it is going to be okay. So if we were to go into your son's room because he's scared of his room, how old is he? If he's under 12, probably the easiest thing to do is go in and sit with him on his bed and let him talk to you about his fears. What's going on? It could be that it feels completely valid to him, and it doesn't necessarily reflect his own self-worth. So sitting on your lap, talking to you, telling you what he sees, what he feels, you're actually going to walk through all the senses, because if you can't express it with each of the senses, then it's still unknown. So talk about, well, it feels, and sometimes it'll be feel and feel in your heart. Sometimes it's I see or I hear. It tastes. Typically fear tastes metallic. It smells. Again, fear usually smells that metallic or that acidic scent. And so have him walk through each of the senses. What does he see, smell, feel, touch, taste? And once he does that, each time, acknowledge what's going on, and then have him tell him it's okay. And when it's okay, then he can let that go. So with all this fear going on right now, something that you can do is the same thing. Start looking, see how does it feel to be in this situation? What does it look like? So it feels heavy, it feels, for some people it feels scary, it feels chaotic. I use that word a lot tonight apparently. It looks like empty shelves and people hiding. I went to the store today. If you want to have a really great experience, go to the store and smile at someone until they look at you and say hi. It completely baffles them. I talked to, I think, 3 different, 4 or 5, because I had 2 helping bag, and I did not buy that many things, guys. It was really funny. Within 30 seconds, they'd switched out. I had them helping me bag my stuff. And I talked to 2 baggers, a cashier and a stocker, bag stocker, whatever they're called, sorry. And all of them were completely baffled to think that someone cared about them. One second. Who's there? Emily, what do you need, sweetheart? Okay, I'll be done in a few minutes, okay? It's important. Okay, come here. We'll be just 1 minute, guys. Oh, you skinned your elbow? And your knee. Oh.
I put it on Zach's thing.
Oh.
Okay. I put it on his toolbox.
Oh, shoot.
Because he left it there.
Okay. Well, tell him to put his toolbox away, and you can go and get a Band-Aid, okay?
I still did. It's Dad.
Okay.
So he said.
You showed Dad and he let you come in?
No.
No.
Just like this. Because they're really.
Awesome.
I just wanted to tell you that.
Thank you. I love you, sweetheart. Okay, I'm back. Dad did not say she could come in, but she needed to tell me because that was important. Lost my train of thought, guys. Sorry. Where are we at? Okay. How does it feel? How does it taste? So it tastes a little bit like bitter fruit. Like, and not like an acidic, yummy lemon that you can flavor. It feels well, sour and musty is how I would describe it. And you guys can have your own experience here. What do you see? What do you feel? What do you smell? And as you do this, every time you're going to say it's okay. It's okay that it feels heavy. It's okay that it feels a little bit scary, because that's not going to stop me. Because I believe that this too shall pass. What's powerful about this energy, all these energies, is they're paired. So your survival energy is actually paired with your crown. Your crown energy is your connection with your higher power. And faith will dispel fear. So if you are in a state of fear, start finding things that you can have faith in, a belief in, because that will help dispel your fear. And as your fear is dispelled, your level of abundance rises. And you'll see that in your home as you start creating more order in your storage. You'll start seeing it in your pantry. You'll start seeing it in every avenue. You start looking at your bedrooms again. You'll see that heart energy really rise. All right. Any other questions? How many of you can feel a shift from where we started to now? You feel like you have a little bit more confidence going into your home? Yeah. Thank you. Awesome. Thank you, Rachel. Yes, I can. Okay. As you're looking through these, it's okay to have a little bit of uncertainty. Don't let that stop you. But if you're willing to jump into it, sometimes just creating that order and like picking up the living room will help support those relationships so that they have the confidence and the peace to embrace what it is that's going on. It can go either way, but set the intention, that you will recognize what's going on. And you will see it. You'll see it in your living room. You'll see it in your bedrooms. And as you create the awareness, you start having a little bit more faith in something more than yourself. And faith displaces fear. And the more you get out of fear, the higher you live in abundance, the better your lifestyle can be. I would love to have you guys join me. I am teaching a class at the Energy Healing Conference. It's actually been turned into a virtual class now. If any of you would like to go, I can enroll you. It's free. You will have access to over 80 speakers and presentations dealing with different levels of mindset. How many of you would like to go to that? There is no commitment. You don't have to purchase anything. Awesome, Megan. Okay, so what I would love for you to do is, and you're registered, perfect. Message me personally and I will make sure that you get enrolled so that you can have that information over the next 30 days, okay? Energy Healing Conference is awesome, yes it is. It is a lot of fun. The people who go are amazing and the people who teach are awesome. And I'm not saying that because I'm one of the speakers. They really are amazing. So Megan, can you send me your information on the chat? You can send it to me privately so not everyone gets it. And I will make sure and get you registered. And anyone else, either while I'm here or you can send me a link on Facebook Messenger so I make sure to get you registered. I will need your email, your name, and your phone number in order to register you. All right. Okay. Any other questions? Quiet group. Okay. Oh. Who am I hearing?
What information did you need again?
I need your name, your phone number, and your email. And that's it.
Okay.
So, was that Renee?
Yep.
Awesome. Okay. So, yeah, if you'll just send that to me, you can send it to me on Messenger or just here in the links. Thanks for being so bright and cheerful tonight. Thank you, Dawn. What if you've always been messy? Okay, let's talk about that for a minute. What if you've always been messy? First of all, understand that everyone has a different level of order, and everyone has a different level of chaos that they naturally gravitate to. There is nothing wrong with either unless you feel there is. Okay? Everything is about perspective. So, and you can go into the hows and the whys of it, which we won't necessarily do on this. I actually teach a 7-week course where we can go into that a little bit. And I'll do a little bit more in my presentation on Saturday. So make sure you look for it. It's the home is your home. It's your mental mindset. So make sure you look for that. But understand that it's not, chaos is not good. It's not bad. It's what you make it. Okay. I am the oldest of 12 kids. When I was 5 years old, my brother was born with a heart issue that he actually had to have open heart surgery. And my mom would spend 5 days a week up at Primary Children's with him. Mind you, I am the oldest child. My grandparents lived next door and they would babysit us, which meant that we would run home and play until they would call us back for dinner. And as the 5 and 6-year-old at the time, I discovered that if my mom came home to a clean house, she felt better. And she would play with us more and she would do these things that we loved. And so I adopted this need to have everything clean. But I was 6 years old and I had 3 younger sisters that were still in the house. Do you think it kept clean? No. My idea of order was one that would be subpar to anything I would accept now. But my 6-year-old self worked her tail off to clean that bathroom and to fold the laundry and do all those little things so that mom could come home and play with us. It wasn't about the order or the chaos. It was about her perception and my perception. So if you're always messy, how do you feel about that? If you hate it, then what about yourself do you want to change so badly that you can't accept where you're at? If you're okay with it, do you need to upgrade or are you comfortable where you're at for a minute? It's all about your perception. It bugs the people around me. Oh, that you're messy?
Yes.
So that's their experience.
Yes, but I share space with them.
Yes. And so how much, then it becomes about finding the level of respect for both of you. And finding the level to respect you and love you where you're at, and you trying to make it so that they have a safe place where they feel comfortable as well. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Does it help?
Yes.
Okay. So don't worry so much about why it's a mess as why do I feel like it's a problem that it's a mess? That would be what I would address. Okay. Awesome. All right. For anyone who has messaged me, I'm going to stop the recording for everyone and get that information.